All right, forget everything you know about knights in shining armor and epic quests for a minute. What if I told you there was a group out there that treats slaying a dragon, well, more like a hostile takeover, and delving into a dungeon? That's just market expansion. Yep, today we're pulling back the curtain and looking inside a truly unique company, the Expedition Society of the Forgotten Realms. And this right here, this pretty much says it all. Where others see danger, we see opportunity. I mean, come on, that's not just some catchy slogan they put on a poster. That is a full-blown mission statement. It's the kind of thing you'd expect to hear from a high-risk startup, right? It feels way more Silicon Valley than Sword Coast. And honestly, that's what makes them so interesting. So, who exactly are these guys? Well, the Expedition Society is a fully chartered official association. You gotta think of them less like a bunch of wandering mercenaries and more like a super specialized consulting firm, you know? Their clients are history, their projects are ancient secrets, and their payment? Well, it's courage for sure, but also, a ton of gold. Okay, so any company is only as strong as the people at the top, right? So let's meet the founding partners. This is basically the C-suite for this whole adventuring startup. And of course, every startup needs that one visionary leader, that CEO. For the society, his name is Trafalgar Newgate. He's the leader, he's the public face, and he is absolutely the strategic heart of this whole thing. I mean, just look at his resume here. It's perfect for CEO. He's a bard, so his key skills are literally persuasion and performance. He's got a noble background, which means he's got the connections and probably the seed money. And that quote, "The common folk must see me as a hero of the people," that's not just a nice thought. That is pure 101 brand management. This guy gets it. All right, next up, we have the guy who actually makes sure this whole thing turns a profit, Yasid. You can think of him as the CFO and the COO all rolled into one. He manages the money, he documents everything that happens. Oh, and he also provides some, let's just say, explosive magical support when needed. And when you look at Yasid's profile, you really see the meticulous brain of this operation. He's a warlock and a sage, so his skills in arcana and investigation, that's basically the company's R&D department. As the treasurer and chronicler, he's the one keeping the books and, literally writing their history. And that personal bond, I sold my soul for knowledge. I hope to do great deeds and win it back. Whoa. Talk about a powerful motivator for a high-stakes career, right? Every startup needs a head of security, right? The enforcer. And for the society, that job belongs to Cardis Marblebreaker. He's not just the muscle, though. He's the moral compass of the group, the shield. He's a paladin, and his sense of honor is every bit as strong as his armor. So this quote has a pretty great backstory. He got the nickname Firebeard after an incident in the Seagro Caves. Long story short, he went up against two smoke drakes, and while his absolutely magnificent beard did not survive the encounter, his pride certainly did. He earned that nickname the hard way, and now he wears it with total dwarven pride. And that brings us to the final founding partner, Andric Fohans. If we're sticking with our corporate analogy, Andric is the head of special projects and maybe acquisitions, the opportunist on the team. He's the guy who handles things like trap disarmament, a little corporate espionage, basically all the more subtle parts of the business. All right, so we've met the executive team. Now let's see how their business model actually works in practice. We're going to dive into a case study of their flagship project, the Expedition to Stormwreck Isle. You can basically think of this as their first big product launch. It was the proof of concept for the entire company. Just take a look at this project timeline. These are the key deliverables. It kicks off with a little light industrial espionage, solving the mystery of some missing rum. But things escalate fast. They establish a beachhead by clearing out zombies, they handle a hostile takeover of a cave system from those smoke drakes we mentioned, and it all culminates in the hostile removal of a blue dragon named Funkashinder from the summit. I mean, by any measure, that is a very successful quarter. So that all sounds great, very heroic, but this is a business, right? So what was the ROI? After all that danger, what did the bottom line look like? Well, it looked like this. A very tidy 1,700 gold pieces in pure liquid capital. And that's not even the whole story. According to Yasid's official treasurer's report, the full picture is even rosier. On top of that liquid capital, they also acquired other assets, gems, jewelry, weapons, armor, the usual, bringing the total project value to a whopping 2,300 gold pieces. For your first big venture out of the gate, that is a fantastic return.
Now, a success like that doesn't just happen by accident. Nope, it was all built on a surprisingly solid corporate structure. So let's take a look at the real operational backbone of the society, their official corporate bylaws.
And listen, this isn't some back-of-the-napkin deal made in a tavern over a mug of ale. No way. Their contract was officially reviewed and sanctioned by the Guild of Scribes, Scholars, and Clerks. They are a legitimate, fully registered enterprise. Okay, digging into their actual Articles of Association is it's amazing. You've got Section 6, which outlines profit sharing and hazard pay bonuses for, and I quote, heroic or charitable activities. That's a performance incentive right there. Section 9, mandatory health insurance for on-the-job injuries. Smart. But my absolute favorite has to be Section 10, comprehensive liability insurance against claims from villains, creatures, devils, and similar beings. And get this, Section 10.4 specifies that the list of covered hostile entities is officially defined by the Monster Manual. That's just next-level risk management. And right here, with these two signatures from Trafalgar and Yasid, the whole venture becomes official. It's no longer just an idea or conversation. It's a legally binding contract that lays the foundation for an entirely new kind of business. So, where do they go from here? What's the next step for this adventuring startup? Let's take a peek at their vision for scaling the business and really cementing their legacy. Well, their next big strategic goal is actually a real estate play. We know from Trafalgar's letters that they plan to acquire and redevelop a rundown old manor in the town of Phandalin. And this isn't just about having a place to hang their hats. No, this is about establishing a permanent, respectable, official corporate headquarters. You know, there's a line from Yasid's Chronicles that I think just perfectly captures what makes this group special. The blade of the hero may be sharp, but the wit of the bard cuts deeper. And that's it, right? Their greatest strength isn't just swinging a sword. It's the strategy, the charisma, the clever contracts. They figured out how to blend pure heroism with some seriously sharp business sense. And that really brings us to the final big question here. The Expedition Society kind of proves that maybe the greatest treasures out there aren't actually gold and magic items, but things like equity and bylaws. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world filled with gods and monsters, could the most powerful force of all be a really well-written contract?